Hi everyone!
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Beyond the Screen. Let's get real, for real. Today we have the pleasure of having Lili La Artista with us. So we're just going to wait a couple of minutes for her to log on, but we're super excited. I'm especially excited because she's a portrait artist who paints people of color. So we share very similar journeys in that sense. So I'm really excited to welcome Lili today. So thank you all. I know that it's a holiday today, so hopefully y'all are having a good day. And we're really excited. So we're just gonna give it a few moments for Lili to log on. And while we do, also this Wednesday, we wanted to share that also this Wednesday we have another live painting class. Hola everyone. So make sure that you catch that. It's at 7 p.m. And this week it'll be facilitated by Abel over here. So make sure you check out that image. Hello, Javi. Hello, the designing chica. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm excited. Looking cute in red. Look at this. Hey, JC Sculpture, good to see you. So we're really excited. Again, these Beyond the Screen conversations are intimate conversations with artists that are less formal. We believe in making the artists accessible, not only their work, but the artists themselves, so you get to hear directly from the artist exactly, what it is that the intention of their work is. You'll get to ask questions, so feel free to ask questions for Lili. X10 Studios, hello. So we'll just give it again a couple of minutes while Lili logs in. Hello, everyone. And then also know that these episodes are recorded and they get placed on our timeline and on our YouTube page. So feel free to check out our YouTube page, El Comalito Collective. So if you missed any of them, feel free to catch them there. And Lili is logged on. So so we'll go ahead and get started. Give us just 1 second while she connects. Sorry, we have the quarantine life. We have the dogs with us. So if you hear a little bit of barking, don't be alarmed.
Hi, loves. You guys look so beautiful in brown.
Aww. You look gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Thank you.
You look gorgeous. How are you?
I've been good, just trying to deal with life in quarantine and everything. How have you guys been?
Good. The dogs have been super calm all of a sudden, and now they're like, "Hi, Lili."
They're so excited to see me.
Yes.
I know. I had to put away my dogs, or else they would have been freaking yapping behind me the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, we live in a really tiny space, so unfortunately, putting them away means saying hi. Just kidding. No, but thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. We were sharing with folks that I'm super excited because you're a dope ass portrait artist who works in acrylic, so we are on the kind of that same journey. But your work is also about representation. And you mentioned, I know you've talked, you've shared before that you didn't really see a lot of that, especially in art, because it's male dominated, it's white dominated, and you don't see the celebration of like femme bodies within work, and you like show that. So I think that it's really awesome that you're with us today, but also that you've made yourself accessible, because not only do folks not see themselves like reflected within the work, people of color, but it's so hard sometimes to like have access to like hear the intentions from the artists themselves. So thank you for being here.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. So I say let's just dive right in and have a little conversation. It's very conversational. It's very informal. So feel free to like share as much or as little as you feel comfortable sharing.
Of course.
And just to give a little bit of background to our viewers, we're gonna read your bio so folks can know a little bit about you. Lili La Artista Navarro specializes in acrylic portraiture depicting femme in all ways. In all ways, it is exhibited by those around her. Her work is about representation. Her paintings depict black and brown people in celebratory ways, bathed in gold rays like the Virgen de Guadalupe or surrounded by roses. Her subjects are beautiful, powerful, and present.
And bam!
Very that. Very that.
Yes.
And so, you know what? I guess we're going to start with the label artist, and it's in your name. How do you own it? Do you call yourself an artist? When did you start calling yourself an artist?
Yeah, what relationship do you have to that label?
I would say I definitely didn't feel like I was an artista until after high school. I think my entire life I really, really wanted to be an artist, but I was really fucking bad at it. Like up until junior year, I was really fucking bad at painting, and then I don't know, it just randomly kicked in out of nowhere. And I think after high school, you know, once I went through that whole like, I don't think I want to be a nurse. I think I was just doing this to like please my dad. I had my very first art show. I was a part of my very first art show, and I was surprised because I was like, these people really want to see like all this shitty work I did in high school. But at the time, that was some of my most popular work, which was like my first self-portrait Brown Warrior and my portrait of Benjamin Bratt. So like being at that art show and seeing everybody reacting to my work and talking about it, and other artists in the space coming up to me and talking about my work, I was like, hold on, I think I just found like what I want to do. Like I felt really, I remember making a post about it. It's still on my Instagram back in 2017 when I had that, or 2016 when I had that show, and I was just like, this is what I want to do. Like this was such a moment for me to really come to realization that like this is what my passion was. And so like right from there, I was like, y'all are gonna start addressing me as Lili La Artista. Okay, we don't know her. We don't know her.
That's amazing, and how validating that you had, you know, that response, because, you know, everyone's kind of journeys are a little bit different, and you know, and sometimes it's really supportive, and other times it's not as supportive. You mentioned, you know, your dad or your family had kind of like this vision of you following like a nurse path. Like what was that like, kind of going, I'm now an artista?
Well, I think it's really common for like a lot of people who are first gen to feel the pressure of having to live a better life than what your parents were able to provide for you.
For sure.
And like I'm hella thankful, but like all throughout high school, I knew my dad was pushing me to want to do something in the medical field, because to him automatically that was, you know, easy money to him. So my first show, my dad was there, and he like saw how many people really admired my work, but you know, it still wasn't set for him that this is what I wanted to do. It took a couple years for him to see that like I'm super determined and like ambitious in what I do, for him to be like, okay, Mija, like I support you. Like he got me an airbrush set last Christmas because he really wants to start teaching me how to do murals for cars and shit like that. So that's how I knew. I was like, okay, he's starting to warm up to the idea. Nice. But the rest of my family have been super supportive. Like my oldest sister, Brisa, she goes to every single show that I have. She's like my little support blanket. I bring her everywhere.
That's beautiful. And
my mom, she just gasses me up all the time. So yeah, it definitely took a while, but they're all here. They're all on board now.
Yay. I'm sorry, did I hear you right when you said that your dad got you an airbrush set so that he can teach you how to do murals?
Yeah,
he's an artist too.
Yeah, my dad and my uncle are both artists. So my dad has been in like the lowrider community since the 80s. And his brother is the one who started doing all the murals for his cars, and he even got a name for himself in the community, which is also why when I was growing up I was like, why the fuck am I so bad at art and everybody who surrounds me is so bomb? But like, yeah, my dad ended up buying me an airbrush set, and he wants to have my uncle mentor me, and I'm hella privileged too, because of the fact that my dad's been in the lowrider community for so long, we have a lot of connections with people who do murals, like bomb-ass murals too. So I'm excited to learn, definitely.
That's amazing. I learned something new about you today. I knew that you were part of the lowrider community. I knew your family had history with the lowrider community, but I didn't know that there was an art connection to as well. So Oh wow, that's beautiful and that's powerful.
Yeah.
So from your, let's go back a little bit to 2016, your first art show. Was it portraits también? Like, was it always portraits, or did you transition into portraits? How did that? Sorry, my dog's like going crazy. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Actually, my first art show was definitely like a compilation of all the work I had done in high school. So some of it was like abstract, some of it was portrait, a lot of it was like drawings still. But
Okay.
yeah, for the most part, it was a lot of portraits.
Yeah. And so you've always known that portraits was kind of like what you were drawn to. Can you talk a little bit about like how you got into portraits, or why portraiture specifically?
Or whose portrait?
Or whose portraits? Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know why. I think I was just really drawn to wanting to depict someone's face and really get it right. Like every time I paint, you know, paintings are gorgeous no matter how they come out, but like I really try to like hit that realism in any way I try to paint. So I think even back then I was like, I really want to try to freaking make this person's face look real. Like, see, because growing up with like seeing cars and murals, you're looking at these murals and you're like, this looks seamless. Like these look like real women and chonies like at the poker table. Like I love this. So I think just trying to capture the realism is really what made me want to do portraits.
Well, your portraiture is beautiful. Like it's beautiful, beautiful. I'm like, you're one of the folks who inspires my work. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, you inspired me too. Even like when you sent me that live you did with Crystal, like Crystal's a huge reason why I started getting into art and going to shows and everything like that. She hella inspired me.
Same. She's also one of my inspirations. So, and anyway, yeah, like I'll fanboy about Crystal Galindo too, but today's about you. So, you know, I know that I've, in conversations that we've had and just the social media presence that you have, you specifically have like chosen to highlight femme bodies in whatever way they come in. Can you talk, has it always been that way, or did you transition into only doing femme bodies because you didn't see your femme bodies represented, or femme bodies of color? Like, when did that light bulb click that that's kind of the direction you wanted to head in?
Yeah, this is a really good question too. So my work started off very, I would say, Chicano, like very Chicano. But through the years, like, you know, the more you read, the more you're able to critique. At least I didn't feel represented by Chicanismo too much. You know, there's a lot of anti-Blackness and misogyny that goes into it as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, through the years, I think my brain, like unintentionally, just really wired my paintings to want to really represent all femme bodies in Latinidad, if that makes sense.
For sure.
You know, at a certain point, I was like, this is not. At a certain point, it felt performative because I was like, I'm selling this Chicano dream, and like, there's so much to critique about it, you know. Right. Especially considering that, you know, I do paint Black women, and it's really common for non-Black Latinos to just completely erase Afro Latinos.
Yep. So
I was like, we got to make a shift here somewhere.
Yep. I'm glad you did. Thank you. Yeah. I think it's super powerful. Can you talk a little bit about the symbolism in the iconography? Because in all of your portraits, there's some, and this is now me projecting, maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some sort of like goddess layering or juxtaposition in all of your portraits. Can you talk a little bit about where that comes from and why?
Yeah, so where like my painting started shifting, I also started imagining like this little world in the clouds. So I think you can notice that in my work as well. Like, it's definitely all set in the same setting in the clouds. And I just started putting like, you know, rays and nimbuses over people in my artwork to really portray that like these are the deities of what I imagine is my little art world in the clouds. Like even the little mascara that I painted, like I imagine all those like in this surrealistic world I have imagined like up in the sky. That's so common, I find, in art, you know, because it's so like nobody knows what the hell is up there, you know. For all we know,
Right.
Godzilla could be hiding up there. And this is just
Yeah.
how I choose to have my art world, you know, like very brown and black, very all femme at that.
Oh, can I get invited to that heaven, please?
Absolutely, you guys are totally invited.
And is that where your handle comes from too, Lord Lili? That's you're the lord of this space.
I never thought about that, but you know what? That's a good that's a good thing. I didn't even realize that.
That's beautiful. I freaking love it. Yeah, that's awesome. How do you feel in terms of like as a as a queer woman of color, like navigating the art world? Like, let's not sugarcoat it. It's dominated by mostly cis white men. And in the small spaces that folks of color are present, it's also dominated by men. So like, how have you, I know that you often talk about like fucking unapologetically take up as much space as you can.
Absolutely.
Like, what has that been like in terms of like successes and also in terms of like challenges, not just from the white sector of the art world, but also from the brown and black sector?
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you say that because like every slight problem that I've had in like my art career has been because of the way men have made me feel in it. Like the whole reason why I had this drive to want to make art and like refuse to assimilate to the art that my teachers were trying to make me do was because my senior year I had an AP art teacher who only graded my cultural work super low, but like everything else was super high. And his reasoning was very much like, well, it's just like something I don't understand. And like in my head I was like, obviously, like because it's not for you, so that's why you don't understand it.
Right.
And that was a really bad experience for me. Like I remember I had called him out and just basically was like, to me what I'm feeling right now is something about like I just really don't, it doesn't sit right with me that you're white and you're trying to critique my cultural artwork so low because you don't understand it.
Right.
And he had gotten like super upset about it, but basically after high school that made me want to keep doing what I do because I was like, fuck that guy. Like I'm gonna make my cultural art unapologetically. And I've also had experiences in like super prestigious places where I definitely didn't feel like I belonged, and they definitely made me feel that way. I remember I did a show sitting alongside the first Chicano Supreme Court, whatever this person.
Someone of
somebody super high up. It was on the UC Berkeley campus y todo. And I thought everything was going well, but then like a week later, somebody who like followed my artwork had messaged me and was like, hey, so the person who curated the show, they're a professor, and he was just talking to the class about the artwork in the show, and he was white. And he just started talking about, out of everybody's work, he didn't really like mine, but he just included it in there because he knew somebody at Sanchez Contemporary Art Gallery who had suggested me. And in my head, I was like, so why did you even like include me in your show? It just, again, felt performative because I was like, it was a predominantly Latinx exhibition. So if you felt that way towards me, why are you including my art in there? Like, it feels like you're using me. Basically. So definitely was not a good feeling. It left me feeling very much like damn, like I want to be able to show my work in these prestigious places. Like, damn, UC Berkeley, that's so dope. I get to sit and talk at this artist panel with other Latinx artists that I fucking admire.
Right.
And then to have the curator just talk about me like that, I'm like, bro, hella unprofessional. It just did not sit right with me.
Yeah, trash with a capital T.
Bro.
Like, yeah, no. First of all, not that you need my validation, because, girl, you're dope and you're awesome and you don't need my validation. But fuck that fool. And your and your work is amazing. So,
Yeah.
but so I mean that's a obviously one of the negative experiences, and unfortunately, I think that I mean I've had similar experiences as well with my art. So I feel you in terms of
Yeah.
like how you can be made to feel, and like you're made to feel like you don't belong or like your work is not good enough. But to contrast that, you have a ton of followers on social media, you have a ton of supporters, you've shown in so many awesome places. Can you talk about the contrast to kind of like that negative experience? When have you taken up space unapologetically and been welcomed and supported? And I'm hoping that that happens more often than the previous experience.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely I could say I feel really great about my art career despite like a couple of douchebags, a couple of men acting like men. Like definitely I can enjoy my art career outside of that. It's because of being a woman of color that I feel like I have so much support, honestly. Because a lot of people, just like me, didn't find representation in art, period. Like, I think when 2016, when I started making art, my art was doing the most rounds on like Tumblr and on Instagram and stuff because a lot of people were really resonating with what I was making. And even now, they still tell me that all the time. And yeah, that's the reason why I've been able to get everywhere aside from, the fact that I make the work in general.
Right.
It's the support that really helps. I mean, I got to do Google's album cover art and Marinero's album cover art because, they really want to support women of color. And that's me. Hi, I'm the woman of color. I'll gladly take the check. Like,
yes, here's my address. Mail me the check. Yes. That's amazing. In terms of, I think that one of the things that I personally really love about your work is like there's no guessing. There's absolutely no guessing what your work does. Right? It's uplifting, celebrating brown and black folks. Like if you're misinterpreting it, it's because I don't know where your head is, but it's like you don't get it. It's not for you. No, but I mean, I think it's very clear. But maybe also I don't want to like feel like I also don't want to project and be like I totally get it. Is there something that maybe your supporters don't know about your work that's not immediately present in the work that you would like to talk about? Or is it pretty at face value? This is what it is.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty at face value. Like, I'm painting beautiful femme people and really representing the femininity in Latinx culture. That's the main base what I want everybody to get from it. I guess like the maybe like one thing that people don't get all the time is that like all my pieces pretty much go together. Like I was saying in my little art world in the clouds, like everybody is their own little patron saint up there, including the little mask. So
that's beautiful. And yes, no judgment at the gate. When I die, I want to be there.
Yes, absolutely, and you're gonna get in for sure.
Yes. Yes. So to kind of transition into to I guess to get to know you as an artist a little bit more, like can you share either a funny experience or one of your pet peeves when it comes to like as an artista, either with art or with as an artist, like what folks do, or do you want to share like a funny art story that's happened to you, so we can get to know you a little bit better?
Let me think. I could have sworn I made a note about this because I was like, what the hell am I going to say?
No, it's okay. You don't have to have a funny story. Also, as you think about this, Lily, if anyone has questions and you want to enter them into the chat, please feel free to. If Lily feels comfortable answering the question, then we absolutely will take the question.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. Totally looking at some of the comments as they go. I'll share a like super wholesome memory I have.
Yay.
Probably the second most validated I've ever felt in my career, aside from that first show, was Kuko was having a show in San Jose, and it was the first show since he had dropped the debut album cover or whatever, and he was like, yo, like, come through, like, we're gonna fucking celebrate. And Marinero was also opening for him, so it was great. Like, I got there and like I got backstage and everybody was treating me like I was some superstar or something. And Doris had the album art on her nails. I was like, what?
Oh, wow.
It was so cool. And I met hella dope people, amazing, well-traveled artists that I was like, you guys like it? Really? You guys are fucking with me? Like, thanks. I appreciate that. And then, yeah, the rest of the night we fucking partied and got like shit-faced. But it was really validating and a really amazing time for me to feel like I feel appreciated right now. Because I went through a lot with that whole like painting for his debut album. It was a lot, so it felt nice to just have that time for us to both be like, all right, there's no more responsibilities, let's fucking party.
Right. And it's, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that's, first of all, that's amazing, congratulations. Second of all, like, it's a lot of pressure to get a commission, as I'm sure you know, from like a person or a family, and have to like present the art and be like, please like it, please like it. And then to like getting an album cover where it's not just going to be the artist, it's going to be the artist and their entire fan base. Like, that's a lot of pressure. So, but you killed it, so good for you.
Thanks. I tried, it was a lot.
Nancy does have a question for you. What is, sorry, I'm like hitting 40, y'all. I don't know if folks know that, but like,
what? You don't even look like it. That's crazy.
I know, I'm 28.
No, you're just 25. What are you talking about?
So my eyes. So Nancy joined a little late, but she would like to know what direction you want to go in as an artist. It may be scary or challenging, but is there a direction that you're looking to go in? Like, where do you see yourself, I guess, in the next few years?
I would say airbrushing, which is both scary and challenging.
Yes.
Because I've only ever worked with acrylic as pretty much like my only medium. I definitely know how to work with some Prismacolor pencils, but other than that, I'm a Virgo. I very much like things that I'm good at, I'll do all the time. So I'm excited to try like airbrushing. I know it's going to be super challenging. It's already super challenging trying to learn how to be so gentle with your hand. So yeah, I hopefully in a couple of years I'll be pretty good. I know my dad wants me to do the mural on the 51 that we're all working on right now. So
that's amazing.
We'll see.
Well, at least you have some great guidance too from your dad.
Yeah, definitely.
It's scary when, and I'm lucky also to have some guidance. He's classically trained, but it's so scary when it's it's so scary when you don't have guidance, you know. So, and actually, there's another question, but I also wanted to check in with you about: do you use acrylic because of how quickly you can work? Or
I think I'm just used to using acrylic. I didn't even realize that there were other mediums that dried slower in the beginning until someone was like, have you ever tried oil paints? It takes forever for them to dry. And I was like, oh, no, I haven't. I guess like I just work super fast when it's drying. So like once I put in that base brown, I'm like, okay, where's my transition brown? I'm like hurrying. I'm trying to like, but it works. I mean, it works. So
and I work really fast, so that's why I really like acrylics. I was just curious if that was intentional.
Yeah.
So Sanchez Cordova is asking, how long does it take to do a portrait, including like the creative process behind it, the planning stages to completion, I guess.
So I would say planning probably doesn't take that long. Like if I see like maybe somebody's photo, I'll like go ahead and ask them like, hey, do you mind if I use this to paint? And you know, usually they say yes. And then usually by the next day I'm already like working on doing the like tracing of it. But as for pieces, it honestly depends on my mental state. I'm keeping it 100. Like sometimes I could start a portrait and it'll be finished in a month, and sometimes I'll start a portrait and it'll be finished in a couple months. So
you're later.
Exactly, exactly. I know they always say that Leonardo da Vinci left behind a lot of unfinished works, and I just kind of feel like that's gonna be me too. Like it really be like that sometimes.
It is though, for real. It is.
Mhm.
And I'm just hearing you talk, Lily, and I'm just thinking, like, are we the same person? I'm pretty sure we are.
Yeah,
um,
basically.
so Adrian Delgado has a question. Hola, Adrian. So what are some of the artists that you're hoping to exhibit with in the near future, or in the future in general?
Um, I don't know. That's a good question too. There's so many Latinx artists that I have already had the pleasure of exhibiting with that I'm so thankful. Um, Honestly, I would say I would want to exhibit with myself in the future. I've never had like a solo show, and I would love to have my own solo show eventually.
Girl,
So.
do you want one?
Low-key, like I do.
Okay, now I know. Because we curate shows.
Yeah. Well, I'm down, like.
Okay, good to know. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have that conversation will be the
I'll
three
have
of
my
us.
people talk to your people, right?
Yes. Have my people talk to, or you have your people to contact our people. Carlos Martinez. Go for it.
Carlos Martinez is asking, what would you tell your younger artist self?
Oh, this is a good question.
Ooh, this is a good one. I would simply say it's possible. That's quite simply what I would say, because I talk about this all the time. I would love to be able to like talk to maybe some people who maybe some like future art majors that are still in high school, because I know in high school for me, my senior year, I was getting good with art, but again in my head, like it was never an option. Being an artist was never an option. It wasn't until 6 months later my friend had reached out and was like, hey, like there's this show in Berkeley, do you want to be a part of it? And then that show ended up validating me. But if I would have been in high school, like, man, who cares what anybody else says? Like, times are different. If you have a talent, you're gonna find ways to fund your art and fund yourself, you know?
Right.
Like, if I would have been in high school, if I could go back to my high school self and be like, girl, 5 years from now, you're gonna have like a couple album portraits under your belt and shows and meeting all these dope people, I would have been like, you're lying, like that's not possible. But it's true, like it's possible.
It is.
I think more specifically it's really important to tell Black and brown people and really reassure them it's possible. You know, you don't have to go into a field that you're going to feel miserable in,
right,
just so you could make money. You know, it's really unfulfilling for your soul. So
yes, thank you so much. And I think, I mean, we talk about this a lot, that like if your gift was fostered, like folks who have access to money and privilege, oftentimes white affluent folks, they have their kids in ballet since they were 3 or 4, right? And they have their kids in dance classes since they were 5, and then that's seen through their entire life, right? And by the time they're in high school, they're like in these professional dance companies, or they get taken out of high school so that they can streamline their focus, right? Like, imagine if our gifts were validated at that young of an age, how badass we would be. I mean, we're already badass, but can you imagine how badass we would be?
We're badass by ourselves. We did that. We did that on our own. But yeah, like imagine if we could be able to like foster all that talent that Black and brown youth have and let them know, like, keep doing it. Just keep fucking doing it, because you're just gonna get better. Like there's so many people who can mentor you. Like do it. Why not? You know, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna have a couple pieces laying around your room.
Yep. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? You'll be the next big star.
Exactly.
Okay. One last question before we start to close off, because we want to be respectful of your time, Lily. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Nancy has, what about themes that you thought of including in your art that you haven't done so yet? Have you? I know that you mentioned that all of the pieces that you've made are cohesive and they're all part of a series. Mm-hmm. Are you thinking of exploring a new theme or a new series?
Not yet. I haven't thought about anything different yet. I'm just going with the flow of what my brain wants to create. Because I had just coming into 2020, or going into 2020 last year, I had just come off of a year of doing commission, and I was super drained. So I think it took me like 6 months to be able to look at my canvases again. So I'm just letting my brain do what she wants for now. And then I'm sure like in a couple months, I'm going to start going somewhere else with it, probably.
Nice.
But for now, yeah, I'm just trying to get back into it and really enjoy what I'm doing.
Nice. Well, I keep going, girl, because I love it. We love it. We all love it. All of us love it. So is there anything else that you would like to share before we close out? Anything that maybe we didn't ask or that you'd like to close off with?
No, I don't think so. I mean, aside from the fact that I'm totally having, I'm totally going to be sharing lots of art this year. And more specifically, one of my favorite pieces, I finally got the okay to share this year. So I'm super excited. You guys will probably be seeing it next month. Yeah, I'm just excited to keep painting and doing everything, meeting new people, hopefully, if COVID allows us.
Yes. Yes. So thank you. I'm supposed to be closing, but then I just have another question.
Okay, it's okay.
Is the piece already done and you're just going to post it next month, or is it something you're working on?
Nope, it's completely finished and I'm going to be posting it. I'm super excited.
No, I'm excited. Yeah.
I'm excited to share it. I just know a lot of people are going to love it, you know, and of course the theme actually that I just realized right now, obviously in my work, is representation. And this is definitely encompassing representation that you don't see much. So
Yay. I'm super excited about that. Can't wait. Thank you, Lili, for being with us. Everybody who's online, remember that this is recorded, so it'll go on our timeline and it'll go on our YouTube page, so feel free to check that out. If you don't already follow Lili La Artista, badass mujer of color, Lili, Lili. Thank you so much, Lili, for being with us. Thank you to everyone else. Again, we have these artist talks twice a month to make the artists accessible to our community. And we also have our live painting tutorials every Wednesday. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much, Lili. Thank you so much, everyone else.
Thank you, guys. I had so much fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And have a great rest of your night, everyone. Adios.
Bye.